Hey everyone, I'm going to do this video over the sperm of the dead topic that we're kind of talking about. I kind of read over the article that was put out under the discussion board for this. And the question at the very beginning that I want to point out is whether there was consent for Amy to be able to use her husband's sperm after he passed. And since he's gone, if she is still basically entitled to his sperm, whether they had actually talked about having a family or not. If they did talk about having a family, what grounds does she have to stand on as far as like allowing or informing the medical team and showing them proof that they had talked about having a family prior to his death? I do believe that if they did talk about having a family and a lot of people knew about it and there was basically proof in the pudding that they wanted a family, they wanted kids, then I think she should be allowed to have a medical team extract and freeze or save it for whenever the time is right for her to do insemination, to be able to carry on and have a family with him, even though he's still not here. So the kidney comparison that was talked about kind of helps overall explain the issue. The article compares like Bob's sperm to taking out one of his kidneys after death. And so, whenever it comes to taking an organ or taking something from someone's body after death, they normally have to sign or have like that little symbol on their driver's license that they're an organ donor. And if he does not have that symbol on his license, or, he didn't sign paperwork saying that he was going to be an organ donor, or he was okay with a family member, his wife, taking his organs, what grounds would Amy have to stand on as far as that? Like, where would the medical team be able to stand on right from wrong to be able to take an organ from him that she may need or want to keep in the future if needed, versus him saying, hey, I'm not okay with her having my kidney or taking anything from me after I'm gone. So that right there is kind of like where I see where the kidney comparison kind of comes into play and helps better explain the differences between the two. Obviously we know sperm is different from taking an organ, but I do think that a kidney would help another person physically. Obviously, if you're in kidney failure and you needed one, but taking someone's sperm can help recreate life, and it'll essentially, as long as everything goes good, create a whole new life and a whole new person. Because of that decision, I think that it has bigger consequences and requires more thought though about taking sperm from someone, because if you take it and you have a child after someone like your spouse or partner is gone, you automatically have to assume all responsibility financially and physically for that human being. You don't have a partner there to help take on the responsibility of raising a child. So that's going to be the biggest confrontation or, the biggest risk that you take out of having a baby with someone that's already passed away. So another argument you can have here is if a stranger could have Bob's sperm. If a complete stranger that, doesn't know him but wants to have a baby, are they entitled to it as well just because his wife wanted it? Who's to say that a stranger that wants a baby, doesn't care who the father is, just wants to have a baby on her own, isn't entitled to it as well? Where do we draw the line on that? Is there paperwork that can prevent Amy's deceased husband from being able to have his sperm taken from complete strangers? There's a lot of protocols and measures that go into place. And this right here is just a few of the things that I jotted down that I thought would be important in an argument like this between doing it or not doing it and the consequences that you reap of having a child with someone that's passed away or not. And so I think I've hit most of all of them. Another good point that I could bring up in my video that I jotted down is just because like Bob wanted children doesn't automatically mean he wanted Amy to have his children without him being alive to raise them. That's the biggest drawback on all this, is that he wanted to have children with Amy while he was alive. But, he may not want children after, in the event that he's gone, because he's not going to be there to help raise them. They're not going to grow up and know who their father is. And so they'll just be able to go by information that Amy tells them, shows them pictures of who their dad is and things like that. But there will be a child that has to grow up even from before it was conceived without a father. So that's my biggest point that I'm going to take out of this this video, this information is, he may not want that child to be here now because they're going to grow up without a father. So everyone let me know in the responses, like what you think, and let me know.